In an instant, the mega blaze came out of the bushes and into another set of homes. Fire bursting into Lithgow, west of the Blue Mountains. Police officers on the ground racing door to door in a desperate bid to save lives.
We are standing on Macaulay Street. Houses are on fire. They have called for backup and extra tanks to arrive, but there are just so many fires springing up and just not enough tanks to respond to every single one.
Residents left distressed and disorientated, following orders as homes burned behind them. Overnight, flames picked up, burning at an emergency level, threatening homes in Blackheath. On the other side of the mountains at Bilpin, more panic as a horrid day turned into an even worse night. A firefighter stumbles to his crew after being hit by a car in thick smoke.
I'm all right.
Madness on the Bells line of road as strong winds fan flames. The Bilpin Tutti Frutti Cafe gone. Some residents were lucky. This man's 110-year-old home still standing.
The roar was coming over the hill, just like a freight train, and the roar, the flames and the smoke, you just couldn't see a thing.
Overnight, winds eased, reducing erratic fire behaviour. But for the 3,000 firefighters on the ground, the largest deployment the state has ever seen, there's still no end in sight.
Today and the next few days will be crucial for crews on the ground. Conditions have eased. They will be able to get into those communities that were affected yesterday and really assess the damage. And most importantly, they will be putting in containment lines around this blaze as they continue to try and get the upper hand on it. Guys?
Those pictures are just unbelievable. Let's go now to 7 News correspondent Tim Lester in Ulladulla on the New South Wales South Coast. Tim, it was touch and go for residents there. How are they holding up this morning?
Morning, Ange. Yes, pretty well, though just outright exhaustion as they've stared down major fires just a couple of kilometres to the west of them now for weeks, and yesterday turned into a horror day for them. That southerly change that many of the firefighters around Sydney had been hoping for to bring temperatures down actually whipped up these fires and drove them rapidly along ridge lines to the north and to the east. Coastal communities like Fisherman's Paradise and others, residents there saw the skies turn completely dark and essentially faced the choice of rapidly fleeing or battening down. Many got in their trucks and fled as others decided to stay, and that sense of panic also turned on them as they got out, because many found that the highways were blocked and they were stopped, particularly on the Princes Highway in a couple of spots along the way. That said, the communities ultimately were protected yesterday, if only just, and by mid-evening they'd reopened the highways. Overnight we're told that there was some spotting, but this morning here firefighters are pretty pleased, and those major fires are now at advice level, guys.
All right, Tim, that is some good news this morning. 7 News reporter Samantha Brett is at RFS headquarters in Sydney. Sam, has the weather change reduced the danger this morning?
Well, Basil, good morning. Despite the fact that temperatures have dropped by up to 20 degrees this morning, the threat is far from over. We're being told that there are up to 2,000 firefighters currently in the field at the moment, and they are battling 107 blazes. But certainly we've been talking about that southerly change that caused all sorts of mayhem right across the state. One of the most challenging fires was that Green Wattle Creek fire. So we saw 4 firefighters injured there. 4 of them had to be treated for heat exhaustion, one of them with burns to their hands and their face. So unfortunately, despite the fact there were 4,000 firefighters in the field yesterday, there are plenty remaining this morning, still battling a number of blazes.
OK, thank you, Sam. 7 News reporter Tim Yateman is in the Adelaide Hills for us this morning. Tim, the fires have tragically claimed the life of a local resident there.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Tragically, that is the case this morning. The man in his 60s from Charleston here in the Adelaide Hills chose to stay and defend his property, as so many have over the last couple of days. But ultimately that decision to stay and defend sadly cost him his life. Now, authorities say the death toll from this blaze could get even higher. There is a man in the RAH, the Royal Adelaide, with severe burns. He is critically injured, and this morning he is still clinging to life. This fire, thankfully, is being downgraded now to a watch and act level. The CFS say that cooler temperatures today really mean that they will definitely be able to get on top of this blaze. It is moving very, very slowly. There's almost no breeze up here this morning. It's a stark contrast from where we were on Friday with those catastrophic fire conditions. But sadly for many, the damage has already been done. 15 homes have been destroyed, and with the temperatures warming up over the next couple of days, authorities are warning those residents in the hills to not be complacent and remain very much on high alert, guys.
So much for everybody to think about. Tim, thank you. Samantha, Tim Lester and Miley Hogan, we appreciate your reports this morning, and we'll have more as the morning goes on.